First of all, thanks for selecting a very old picture of mine. Makes me look 20 years younger. But nevertheless, very happy to be here and share with all of you a state's perspective on artificial intelligence. In fact, all of you would be aware that we have a national policy and there are national programs. Just a few days ago, there was a very important national event called RAISE. But what are the states in the country? How do they look at AI? What is their perspective? And what kind of programs have they rolled out? Are they well aligned with what the world is thinking, what the country is thinking, or are they out of sync? So these are some of the questions which hopefully I would strive to answer in the 15-20 minutes that I have been given to speak. So many of you would be aware that Telangana is one of the 28 states in the country. This is also the youngest state in the country. It was formed in June 2014. So just about 6 years of history of the state. But once the state got created in 2014, in our very early days itself, we realized that technology is going to play a very important role in advancing the society, in creating economic prosperity, in bringing new jobs, etc. And it was decided that the state will have a very sharp priority on technology enablement, and we will also ensure that all the emerging technologies which come up in any part of the world, Telangana should try to become the front runner in this country in adopting those emerging technologies and creating a very enabling ecosystem for the emerging technology players to roll out their products and solutions, etc. So, in fact, 4 years ago, we created a specific organization within the government, which is called the Emerging Technologies Wing, just to focus on these new generation technologies, which of course includes artificial intelligence, but also includes new technologies like IoT, blockchain, cybersecurity, drones, and so on and so forth, digital entertainment technologies, and so on and so forth. And of course, when we created this institution called the Emerging Technology Wings, we also brought in lots of talented people from the open market to run this wing, so that we have the best talent available who understand what the emerging technologies are all about, what does it imply to deploy some of these emerging technologies within the government, etc. And in the last 4 years, our achievements have been stupendous. In fact, first of all, we have created dedicated policies or frameworks or a roadmap for each of these emerging technologies. So, for example, for artificial intelligence, we have an AI framework. For blockchain, we have a blockchain concept. For drones, we have a drones framework, and so on and so forth. And the other important thing to note is that all these policies, all these frameworks, they have been prepared after much consultation. We have deliberated at length with all the stakeholders, with the industry, with leading academic institutions, with startups. Lots of us know this, that startups are doing some very transformative and path-breaking work in our country today. So their concerns, their priorities, their challenges also need to be factored in when a government is trying to create a policy or an enabling environment, etc. So the artificial intelligence framework also has been prepared with the similar rigor which I spoke about now. And when we consulted everyone, we realized that it's a very broad area. While you can take the lead in rolling out AI products or AI solutions, but there are many other dimensions also. And unless you are very comprehensive in your approach, you will not really be seen as a serious player in the AI world. So our artificial intelligence framework actually rests on 6 pillars. There are 6 elements in our policy, and I'll take maybe a few minutes to explain what these elements are, what these pillars are. The first and the foremost is data sets and high performance computing. Now, as all of us would know, artificial intelligence's core is availability of data sets, that too large data sets, and then only you'll be able to train the machine to write algorithms, to refine those algorithms, etc. So one advantage which we have as compared to many other states which also today strive to be a part of this the tremendous growth of artificial intelligence. The advantage that we have is that in 2016 itself, we created an open data policy. In fact, you will be surprised to know that after Sikkim, Telangana was the second state in the country which chose to put all its government data in the public domain, and that too in a machine readable form, in an annotated manner. So the first large state, so to say, which created an open data policy. And since then, 192 plus public domain data sets of the state government have been put in a central repository, and they are available in a machine readable format, and these are workable through APIs, etc. So this is something which has given us a very good head start, and we have been able to now take the lead in making more and more data sets available for AI practitioners. But we also know that if sometimes when the data sets become too humongous, too large also, there is a challenge in terms of the compute capabilities. We don't have computing facilities. So what we have also done as a part of our AI framework is that we have started investing in high performance computing. So we have, to begin with, we have chosen two institutions where, with the help of a private company, NVIDIA, we are setting up, and CDAC, we are setting up high performance computing. One is in IIT Hyderabad, and one is in a state university for whom I am the officiating vice chancellor these days. It is called the Jawaharlal Nehru Technology University. So JNTU and IIT will be two locations where we will give the opportunity of high performance computing to people. The second very important component of our AI framework pertains to skilling. Now, we all know, and this has been spoken about so many times, that if India has to really reap the benefit of artificial intelligence. In fact, last month we had sponsored a conference along with NASSCOM, in which the Honorable Union IT Minister had released a report. What is the potential of AI for India's growth towards becoming a $5 trillion economy? And the report had predicted that $500 billion or $500 billion can actually be contributed by artificial intelligence. But we all are very conscious of this fact that this can remain a pipe dream if we don't have talent across the board available to capitalize on this AI opportunity. So in Telangana, what we have done is that we have identified, again, NASSCOM is assisting us for this exercise. We have identified 19 job roles which are available in AI across the board. And we have made very elaborate plans, and these plans have actually rolled out to train 30,000 people by 2022. So in the coming 2 years, our ambition is to ensure 30,000 people are trained in different aspects of AI. See, many of you would know that while one end of AI is it requires a very high level PhD kind of knowledge and ability to develop algorithms, etc. But there are some very basic and very fundamental and low-end kind of jobs also. So when I spoke earlier that we have to bring lots of data sets into public domain, you have to clean those data sets, you have to annotate those data sets, and we feel that lots of these jobs can be done by people who do not need to have very high qualifications. In fact, some of the job roles that we have discovered can be actually delivered by people even if they are just a 10th grade pass or intermediate pass. That is good enough to do this data cleansing, etc. The second thing which we have discovered is that lots of these opportunities can be created in rural areas also. And today, in the pandemic scenario, as I'm sure all of us know this, that IT industry has been given the permission to work from home. So there is an implication on the real estate market. So in cities like, let us say, Hyderabad, or Bangalore, or a Gurgaon, or a Pune, where the real estate drive was through the IT industry, questions are being raised on how much of real estate can be driven further. Real estate growth can be driven further by the IT industry if it shifts to a work from home model. But we have found that while there could be some decline in cities for a while, but we can create opportunities in rural areas also, what are called tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities and towns, etc. So skilling is something which we are very conscious about. And as I said, to train 30,000 people in the coming 2 years is a major challenge for us, and we are very confident that we will deliver. We have an institution in the government which is called TASK, Telangana Academy for Skills and Knowledge, and we have partnered with all the engineering colleges, all the polytechnics, all the ITIs, all the degree colleges in the state, through whom we are identifying the students and running various kinds of modules which are suitable for these 19 job roles, as I mentioned. The third important pillar in our IT in our artificial intelligence strategy pertains to governance, ethics, and privacy. And I'm sure all of you will agree with me that these are very, very important concerns. In fact, tomorrow, if we plan to mainstream artificial intelligence in different sections of economy, different sections of society, then the way artificial intelligence algorithms will be handled, the governance arrangements, the institutional arrangements, issues about privacy. I'm sure all of you are aware that our Prime Minister made a very important announcement on his Independence Day address that we will have a national digital health mission, implying that every citizen will have a unique health ID, all his health transactions, including purchasing medicines from pharmacies, all that will be done using an electronic and a digital means. And obviously, lots of that information will be available for AI purposes. You can predict insurance claims, and you can detect fraud in that. And you can also do disease-wise sampling and lots of predictive analysis and all that. But all of us know that healthcare, etc., are very individual, very private kind of issues, and how properly are you able to put safeguards related to privacy, data sharing, security, etc. So what we have done is that in collaboration with the World Economic Forum, so Telangana government and the World Economic Forum has created a Center for Responsible Deployment of Emerging Technologies. We call it CRDET. And artificial intelligence is one of the important focuses. So it will look after key ethical concerns in AI related to accountability, bias, transparency, privacy, security, safety. And we have started working on agriculture to begin with, and I'll explain in a while what exactly are the things that we are doing there. And also, there are issues when we are looking at scaling. There are also issues of how much of it can be deployed for commercial purposes, and how do you monetize data, etc. There is one stream which thinks that monetization should not be the government's responsibility at all, but we do believe that there has to be some regulatory responsibility that the government also is able to take over. The fourth component of our AI framework pertains to research and innovation. AI, as all of us would agree, is again a very growing area, and there are lots of opportunities. In fact, I'm very glad that this conference is happening in the middle of the announcement which was made 2 days ago, again on the same platform, jointly by Intel, IIIT Hyderabad, Public Health Foundation of India, and Telangana government for setting up an applied research center, which is called, which was announced 3 days ago on the same platform. So this particular center, which will be set up in Hyderabad, focuses on mobility and healthcare. But there are other initiatives also which we are supporting. So I already spoke about the agriculture initiative that we have taken. This initiative is called AI for AI, Artificial Intelligence for Agriculture Innovation. So the state government has a very defined role to play in how do you promote research, how do you promote innovation. First of all, you have to do that in a partnership model. So the AI Center of Applied Research, which was inaugurated 3 days ago, that itself has 4 partners: Intel representing the private sector, IIIT representing the world of the academia, Public Health Foundation of India representing a civil society organization, and the government of Telangana, which represents obviously the government. So this is a very kind of an appropriate or a very apt model in how different stakeholder interests can be coalesced into a very well-defined objective, into a well-defined institution, and you take that agenda forward. The fifth important pillar of our AI strategy relates to adoption. Now, this is something very important, and this is a very big differentiator for Telangana government vis-a-vis other states. I mean, lots of states show great policies and talk about all kinds of fancy things, but very few of them put their money where their mouth is. What in Telangana is done is that we have in the AI framework and various other emerging technology policies, we have given an assurance that if there is a homegrown company, meaning a company within the boundaries of Telangana, which has come up with a product or a solution which is of relevance to the government, then I will procure it bilaterally. I will not run you through any kind of procurement process. And many participants would be aware that the government procurement processes typically are very kind of complicated. I mean, you have to participate in a bid. In fact, lots of startups keep complaining to us that they are not even eligible to participate in these bids because they don't have, a background and turnover and all that. And obviously, when you participate in a bid, also there are hundreds of others who are participating, and it's mostly it's not a level playing field. So so that is a very important reform that we have brought about. That if there is a solution which is of relevance to us, we will bilaterally procure it from you. See, many other states are still discussing how do you simplify the procurement process, how do you give advantage to a startup, etc., etc. The radicalness of our thinking is that we have done away with the procurement process altogether. We just bilaterally take it. And again, I feel very proud to share with you that since 4 years that this policy is in implementation in Telangana, we would have onboarded more than 3 dozen startup products and solutions, some of which related to AI also. Of course, there are other solutions as well. There are more than 10 blockchain cases that we have implemented in Telangana, procuring the solutions from local startups. But as I said, there are very important AI solutions also. So as I said, adoption is a guarantee that we are giving in Telangana. That if there is something of relevance, I will ensure that the right government department, the right government agency adopts it and implements it. And I know for sure that many agencies who were able to get this opportunity in Telangana, they were able to subsequently find opportunities in other states also. So we, in that sense, we are opening the door for you to get into the market. So this is something which is very, very important. The last pillar of our 6-pronged artificial intelligence strategy is setting up a fund which we call AI Innovestment Fund. It supports innovation and it also supports startup activities, the startup kind of funding which is required. So, of course, we have not been able to physically put together that fund because of this. We have been delayed, so to say, because of the pandemic and the fact that state government's revenues also were badly hit. But nevertheless, once things become quite all right, we are going to go ahead with the fund, and obviously we'll be helping lots of people in their artificial intelligence journey also. So as I mentioned, 3 important things, 3 important takeaways so far. Number 1, there is a clear policy, the 6-pillared or the 6-pronged policy that I spoke about. Second, there is an institution to convert that policy into action. This is again something which India is commented upon very in a critical way quite frequently, that great policies are written, but how do you translate that policy into action? There's hardly any clarity on that. So we have given that clarity. We have created a dedicated institution which is called TAIM, Telangana Artificial Intelligence Mission. That is the dedicated body which which translates the policy into action. And finally, the third most important thing, we have taken the best talent available in the market to run this institution. So policy, institution, and talent, all 3 converging in Telangana and delivering beautiful AI products and solutions. The final thing which I want to share with you is that 2020, the year 2020, while we will remember 2020 for a variety of things, unfortunately, not all of that will be very good. But one thing which we will remember 2020 in Telangana as the year of AI. On 1st of January 2020, we launched the year of AI. Many programs were rolled out. Many partnerships were forged. Lots of skilling programs were announced. Many exciting things were taken up. Obviously, the last 6 months have been difficult, but it has, frankly speaking, it has not thrown us off the track. Many of the plans which we announced on 1st January, they are being rolled out. In fact, the sudden pandemic also helped us pivot to lots of healthcare related activities, COVID management. In fact, Telangana uses a very sophisticated predictive analytic tool, which has helped our government also in some of these reopening decisions related to the IT sector, related to the industries, and so on and so forth. But when I say that 2020 is being commemorated in Telangana as the year of AI, it doesn't mean that on 31st December we say everything is done and we kind of move on. It is just the signal that we have started something which will continue to flow, and hopefully with this clear direction and this clear vision, we will be able to showcase Telangana as the front runner in artificial intelligence, like any other emerging technology which we have been dabbling with. So I'm very happy that I got a chance to tell you about a state's perspective on artificial intelligence. And please stay connected. If you have any solution, any product which you want to try out here, we'll be very happy to partner with you. Thank you very much.